Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today we're going to have a bit of a discussion regarding why some races will not make it into the Total War Warhammer series. So without further ado, let's begin. The Warhammer fantasy world itself is absolutely massive. Within it are many different races and cultures inspired by our very own real world. So far, a decent amount of unique races in the Warhammer Fantasy series have been added to the Total War Warhammer series. And as far as the fan base is concerned, there is at the very least 4 new playable factions to be added in the lifespan of Total War Warhammer 3. The more or less general consensus is that those are the Chaos Demons, the Chaos Dwarfs, the Ogre Kingdoms, and possibly Kislev. Now obviously, even with the inclusion of these races, there's still many others that have yet to be implemented if they ever get implemented. Just to name a few, there are some obvious choices such as Araby, Ind, Cathay, Albion, among so many others. Some of these races have decent amount of lore to be able to create playable factions, whilst others can just really be considered footnotes in the history of Warhammer Fantasy. But still, until Creative Assembly outright state that certain races or factions will never be implemented into the Total War Warhammer series, the fans will be left speculating, making forum posts and even videos. Now, whilst we're on this topic, it is important to note that Araby was not officially shot down. It was merely mentioned that there are currently no plans to introduce Araby into the Total War Warhammer series, so this means that it could be possible or it could not. But at this point, only time can tell. Now with that being cleared up, let's get back to the topic at hand. Why won't some races in the Warhammer Fantasy universe ever get implemented into the Total War Warhammer series? Well, in truth, there are a few different reasons that have been highlighted by the fans. So I want to go over these points, discuss them with you, and see if it holds any truth. First is in regards to lore or lack thereof. I have seen a lot of people make comments in regards to certain races never being implemented into the Total War Warhammer series purely because they have a lack of lore. And I would have agreed with them were we still in the lifespan of Total War Warhammer 1, but we have seen a race being implemented into the Total War Warhammer series that has very little lore, that of the Vampire Coast. While the faction itself did exist in the tabletop and did have some lore, it was mostly very barren and didn't really have that much content. The majority of the Vampire Coast roster was instead created by a combined effort by Games Workshop and Creative Assembly. So if this has happened once before, it could be very likely that this could happen once again. Another point that has been made by the community is in regards to location, where some countries that belong to certain races in the Warhammer Fantasy world are quite small. Once again, we can make an argument against this. The size of the area where certain races are from doesn't really matter. Obviously, not all of the possible legendary lords for certain races and factions have to start in the same location. And not every race pack has to start with 4 different unique legendary lords. We've already had some race packs that have introduced 3 or even 2 legendary lords. It could even be possible for even very minor races to only introduce 1. The perfect example of this could be Albion. Should Albion ever be included as a playable race, it really doesn't have that much of a play area, so it wouldn't make sense to have more than 1 legendary lord there, but even then it could be possible that we could see 2 legendary lords, one starting in Albion and one starting far away. Better to have 1 or 2 legendary lord options than none whatsoever. Another point I've seen here is in regards to how unique some of these races would be. While in truth a lot of these unique races and factions would probably carry over some different mechanics from other already established races and factions, it is important to note that this has always been the case and has already been happening. Say for example, if you compare the Dark Elves with the High Elves, their playstyle is incredibly similar. Yes, they have some minor differences, but the key format is already there. Every race established in the Total War Warhammer series doesn't have to be completely 100% unique from each other. That would be completely impossible. And lastly, we have one more case here, which originally I wasn't going to add into the video because I know some people are just going to start causing issues regarding it, but I feel it needs to be addressed. With the case being racism, yep, people have used that excuse before. Yeah, I know that Games Workshop have had some specific issues with racism in terms of certain models. There has been a few cases where people will go online and state that certain races will not be made playable purely because originally Games Workshop, in the early days when they were trying to make lore for unique races and factions, did base a lot of early lore around a lot of stereotypes. And obviously Creative Assembly would want to shy away from any possible races and factions that could give them some sort of Fallout. Yeah, understandable, but I honestly don't believe that this would actually happen. Should Creative Assembly and Games Workshop want to release another minor race or faction, stuff can easily be changed around and reimagined. Remember, this is Games Workshop at the end of the day, and they're known as the Lord of the Retcons by fans for good reason. So with all that being said and done, why is it that certain races and factions will not be implemented into the Total War Warhammer series? Well, honestly, it is my thought that the answer is simple enough. Projected sales and development time. Why would focus be shifted towards a minor race or faction when they could easily focus on one that is rather popular and already implemented? We'll use Araby as an example once again. It's very possible that you could see people on the forums posting about Araby over and over, but that doesn't guarantee that there's going to be sales. Or at least enough sales to justify the creation of a complete race pack. They know they have some big ticket items, especially when you take into account races like the Demons of Chaos. The Demons of Chaos have a massive amount of units and a huge amount of possible different legendary lord options. It's easier for them to focus on races already implemented or races soon to be implemented than look towards a very minor race that might or might not sell well and possibly not even break even. At the end of the day, it's safer to actually go with something that they know is going to sell. Honestly, I believe that's the main reason why we won't see every minor race and faction implemented into the Total War Warhammer series. You guys could naturally have a different opinion to me, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below and let's start a bit of a discussion. I do apologise for the shorter video than usual today. I am unfortunately been very busy at work, so I've not been able to work on a lot of content, but we should be back to our regular 10+ minute videos as from tomorrow. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various different links to social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram and Discord, where you can get in contact with the Great Book team. Also in the description section below is an affiliate link with Element Games, where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using our special link and also using our special code, both of which are in the description below, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. Honestly, it's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A special thank you to our patrons Gibraltar LUSC and Ryan Bertsche for subscribing to us at our Fane level. Honestly, you guys are super cool. And a big thank you to our patron Edward Huell for subscribing to us at our King level. Mate, you're super awesome. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.